Last time on Spilling Positivity.
Hey, Mom. You know, Jesus just asked me if I would minister for him. Perfect.
This week, time for part 2.
And she looks at me and she goes, "So you've been smoking again?"
Wow. So she knew.
But I hadn't been smoking. I was just trying to
Trying
get
out.
my act together because it wasn't working. Last time I smoked was a nightmare. Right? I literally heard a voice in my head say, "If you say walk," and I'm in the garden, thing dog is like freaking me out, barking. And then another voice says, "If you start walking, you're never going to stop walking again." And just after that is when this happened. And so I'm feeling perfect.
Right.
Like, I don't want any more drugs. I am not. There's no anxiety and nothing. I have a friend who's a psychiatrist. I said, well, maybe I'll go see him. But before that, I have this urge to go to church.
Really?
Church? I said, I don't even know anybody in church. And then I remembered this girl who, she used to work at Paul's Boutique, which was this hip boutique they had in town, and selling men's clothes. And I said, I went one Christmas to take like the members, they were like with 3 of them staff. I went to take them to lunch because they used to treat me real nicely. And they said, well, we can't all go, but you can take her. And I took her to lunch, and I remember that she said grace before the meal. I said, you know what? That girl must know
A church.
that I could go to. So I called her up, and I said, hey, I need to go to church, Dolly. And she said, well, you should come on. It was a Wednesday. She said, you should come on Friday, because that's deliverance, right? That's when all the druggies and all. I said, nah, man, I need to come to church tonight. And they took me to church. And so this girl that I called up, in January, right, of this year, we celebrated our 40th anniversary.
Wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations on that.
Congratulations on that.
That is incredible.
And so I went to church, and she had a brother who was, all of them had come through, like,
The ministry.
smoking.
Smoking
As well. Okay.
A Canadian sister who's a psychologist and thing. And so, like, she counseled me and thing, and they lived in Bathsheba, and like hippie kind of thing.
Right.
And I used to go up there and just bawl.
Wow.
Bathsheba, just the waves beating, and talk to her. Everything would just come out, all the years of stuff, and
What triggered you though, starting? You think was something mentally that was
no, it was just curiosity.
Curiosity,
Yeah.
okay.
I had like a perfect childhood. I can't even say that.
Yeah, there's anything there.
Nah, man.
It's just curiosity.
Yeah, I grew up in a plantation house with a real nice family, everything you want.
Yeah.
And really, it was that's all it was, curiosity that got me started. But then you start, and then maybe a year ago before I did drugs again, it's just that period with the doctor, and his story is a whole other story too. And that's how we really got into it. And then because of New York, it was
Right.
free to
Yeah.
get
Right. That
into anything
time.
you want. And then when we came back, then those 2 years were the pivotal years that really took me into it. And so after that, I was in church, and I haven't done drugs again.
Wow. That's 41 years. Congratulations.
I went to church. I wasn't like into my wife or anything. She was just this friend that took. But then that was like September, because I remember we had a marriage seminar the next year, and everybody rushed out to watch the bands come down except me. I had just brought her a whole band a year before.
Right.
You changed your entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody thought I had gone crazy.
Really?
So it was like rumored all over. Mark went berserk, and
Really?
going into church and things.
Because you changed your life.
And friends.
Right.
And friends, yeah.
And then there were people like, give you 6 weeks, so you'll be back soon. Like,
Wow.
but
How much of an impact did your friends and the people you hang out with have on your your lifestyle and your using drugs?
okay, put it this way: when I came off of drugs, about maybe 9 months. So that was September. I was married in January. Like after 5 months.
Right.
And so I would then, one day I woke up and realized I heard these kids playing and thing, and I realized, you know something? I had not heard children for years because there was nowhere that I went where children were.
Wow.
Right, right.
So that was who my friends were, drug dealers and the people who did drugs and partying and all that, you know. And basically that is what happened. But then I started, in order to get back into health, I started running on the street again. And like within a year or two, I was running 10Ks and getting back into health and so. And it's been like that kind of ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your story is just incredible.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. What would you say to any young person or any person out there who's struggling with their addiction?
Ooh.
Yeah.
It all depends.
All depends.
Because then, like, for years, then I was drug counseling and all that. So, and I, like, up until the year before last, I was on the board of the National Council of Substance Abuse.
Okay.
You know, from druggie to...
Yeah.
Right. So, I would say it depends. People used to call me up a lot and say, can you talk to my kid and blah, 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 blah. But I don't do that anymore because, first of all, drug counseling will tear you apart because there's so much falling back and recidivism.
Right. And you were fortunate that you didn't have that.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Right. Because it was like I didn't really go into rehab as such.
Okay.
I just had good support around me. And so it depends on the individual situation. But now I've learned enough now that if somebody calls me and asks me about, so can you talk to my kid? I'll talk to them, but I'll recommend them to a professional.
Okay.
So it's Verdun or wherever they can go.
Right.
That they can get help. And it all depends, you know, people don't like to admit that their kids are druggies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, so sometimes they turn up really late and they've already maybe gone down to the mental hospital.
Right.
Or whatever. But, you know, there was a period right back there where I used to go and, like, I would go into the drug holes still. In fact, wives would ask me to go and get their husbands in the drug hole. And then one day I was in this drug house, and first I walk in and there are all these druggies there, and they go, Pastor Mark, and because that's what they like to call me.
Right.
That was fun for them, and say, hey man, what are you doing down here and thing? Then I got down there for somebody, and I said, come play me some backgammon, man. I mean, you know, I ain't beat you for years and thing. And I said, but I'm looking for so and so. Say he in the back. He in the back means that he is up to his ears in crack cocaine.
Right.
Piping, right? And so I gotta give it a little time until he's ready to leave. And I'm like, we gotta go, you know, doctor, your wife wants to. And I'm sitting there and all of a sudden it hits me, you know, if this place gets busted,
You're here.
Nobody's gonna believe
Right.
that you don't do drugs anymore,
Right.
Yeah.
So I never went back into the drug houses ever again.
Right. So your story though, Mark, I mean, from drug addict to missionary, because you actually missioned to lost souls.
Yeah, and that was like in around 2007. So then we started doing missions. By then I had, like 10 years after coming off of drugs, I was setting up in-house advertising for Simpson Motors. So I was head of advertising there and still doing all kinds of theater and stuff on the side. and never stopped doing theater. And so by 2007, it's like, so what do you do with your life as a Christian, you know? I go to church. And my wife got into children's missions first, and then we went to a School of Global Missions at Abundant Life Assembly. We went from the church that I was going to Abundant Life Assembly because that's a missions-oriented church. And then we ended up down in the jungles of Guyana.
Wow.
Fun. No, that was fun.
And you have done some extraordinary work in terms of art. I mean, and you continue to do that. You have murals. I can find your murals across Barbados, can't I? Yeah. So what is your what is lowest moment, highest moment?
Lowest moment would have to be that period when I met Christ. That was like, you don't get low as that. That's like looking up at your toes. And highest moment was putting up a stage at Royal Albert Hall in London.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it wasn't the greatest stage, but it was just the moment. You know?
Yes.
And it was just the professionalism and seeing that. And recently, in the last couple of years, film. We did Outer Banks for Netflix.
Wow.
So we did set deck for that. And then this year, just a couple of months ago, we did HBO Succession, and I was scenic painter for that. And so now it's film.
Yes,
and that's
nice.
really fun. Hard work, but fun. And well, we just finished doing Don't Put Your Head Where Your Body Can't Do.
Well, right.
At Daphne Joseph Hackett Theatre, and now I'm back in there with the students from BCC, and I also teach production and stagecraft at UE FCCPA.
Wow. Your story, beautiful story. You know, I mean, really an example of overcoming adversity.
It's not me really. I mean, I could never. It's all Jesus Christ. I could never do it.
Yeah.
Overcoming addiction, finding love,
Right.
all of that in the same. It just goes to show
And living your passion.
living your passion
Right.
for sure.
At what age are we?
No?
Can we say?
Yeah, I guess so.
A young
you
70s.
get old enough.
A young 76, 75?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm not 76 yet.
Right. Okay. And he's an athlete doing the senior athletic games. So
Yeah, and so like my life now is like between theater, teaching, and a group of people called BAMSAC, Barbados Masters and Seniors Athletic Club.
right.
And they are totally amazing. It's like a family. They are getting ready now to go, well, we're doing Senior Games Barbados, I guess, end of June. And then they're off to World Senior Games in Pittsburgh. And they usually clean up when they go down there.
Yeah,
Barbados
you
is
see that.
known
Yeah.
for, like,
Yes.
cleaning up at Senior Games.
Yeah.
And so it's all about that aging thing now and how to manage aging
Right.
in a functional way, you know. Aging gracefully, they go.
Yes.
Yes. So this has been a fantastic episode.
Absolutely.
Overcoming, staying faithful, trusting and believing. And we want to thank you, Mark, for coming and spending
You're
some
more than
time.
welcome.
Yes.
You don't know who you're going to inspire with that story.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
may
you
be in
never
the
know.
bubble
Yes.
of not sure what to do about addiction and how to deal with that. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Thank you, Mark.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for joining us for another episode. Remember to, as Mark said, faith is so very important in the journey of life and trusting and believing. So until our next episode, Natasha.
That's right. Brought to you by Tetley. We thank you, Tetley. And thank you, everyone. Stay positive and stay on track.
Bye.